You wake up at 3 in the morning. Your heart is already racing. You don't know why. You didn't have a nightmare, nothing happened. But your body is convinced you're about to die. Or maybe it hits you differently. Maybe it's that meeting at work you've been dreading for a week, the one that's still 4 days away. You've rehearsed every possible way it goes wrong, every embarrassing thing you might say, every way people might judge you. And you haven't slept properly since you got the invite. Or maybe it's nothing specific at all, just this constant low-level dread sitting in your chest every single day. Like something terrible is always just around the corner. You just don't know what. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're not weak. You're not just being dramatic. You might be dealing with an anxiety disorder, and there are over 284 million people on this planet dealing with the exact same thing right now. Today, I'm going to break this down completely. The science of what's actually happening in your brain, the 6 main types of anxiety disorders, 5 things almost everyone gets wrong, and most importantly, what actually works. No fluff, no generic advice. Let's get into it. Welcome back, or if you're new here, this channel is where we go deep into the human mind. The dark corners, the science, the psychology behind why people think, feel, and behave the way they do. I'm glad you're here. Hit subscribe if you want more of this. Now, let's talk about anxiety. First, anxiety itself is not the enemy. Let's be clear about that. Anxiety is your brain's alarm system. It evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to keep you alive. When your ancestors saw a predator in the bushes, their brain triggered a flood of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, that made their heart race, their muscles tense, their senses sharpened. Fight or flight, it was brilliant. It kept humans alive. The problem, your brain hasn't fully updated since then. It can't tell the difference between a lion and a passive-aggressive email from your boss, between physical danger and a social situation that makes you uncomfortable. Same alarm, same chemical flood, same racing heart. But the threat isn't real, and the alarm just won't shut off. That's what an anxiety disorder is. The alarm system is broken. It fires too often, too intensely, for too long, and it starts destroying your quality of life. The 6 main types. Generalized anxiety disorder. This is the most common one. It's that constant, free-floating worry about everything. Health, money, relationships, the future. People with GAD describe it as never being able to turn their brain off, always anticipating disaster. The technical threshold is persistent anxiety on most days for at least 6 months. Panic disorder. Sudden, overwhelming attacks of terror, heart pounding, chest tight, can't breathe, feeling like you're dying or losing your mind. The cruel twist, people with panic disorder then develop anxiety about having more panic attacks, which actually triggers more of them, a vicious cycle. Social anxiety disorder. This goes way beyond shyness. It's an intense, paralyzing fear of being judged, humiliated, or embarrassed in social situations. Giving a presentation, eating in public, even making a phone call. People with social anxiety don't just feel nervous, they feel exposed, like everyone is watching and waiting for them to fail. 4. Extreme, irrational fear of a specific thing. Spiders, heights, blood, flying. The fear is wildly disproportionate to any real danger. The person knows it's irrational. That awareness doesn't help at all. 5. OCD, obsessive-compulsive disorder. Intrusive, unwanted thoughts that the brain gets completely stuck on, obsessions, followed by repetitive behaviors designed to neutralize the anxiety. Compulsions, checking the lock 12 times, washing hands until they bleed. The compulsions don't solve anything, they just feed the cycle. 6. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. When the brain fails to process a traumatic event and gets locked in a permanent threat response, flashbacks, nightmares, emotional numbness, hypervigilance, a war veteran, a car accident survivor, a childhood abuse victim, the trauma lives in the body long after the event is over. Myth 1. It's just in your head. This one makes me genuinely angry because, yes, it starts in the brain, but anxiety disorder is a full body experience. Your cortisol levels are measurably elevated. Your immune system is suppressed. Your gut is disrupted. Your cardiovascular system is under strain. Anxiety disorder is as physiologically real as diabetes. Telling someone to just stop worrying is like telling a diabetic to just produce more insulin. Myth 2. Anxiety means you're weak. Some of the strongest people I know have anxiety disorders. High-functioning CEOs, elite athletes, people who carry enormous weight every single day. Anxiety has nothing to do with strength or character. It's neurobiology. Your brain chemistry and your early life experiences shape it, not your willpower. Myth 3. You should avoid your triggers. This feels logical. It is completely wrong. Every time you avoid something that triggers anxiety, you send your brain one message. That thing is genuinely dangerous. The anxiety gets stronger, not weaker. The world gets smaller. Avoidance is the fuel anxiety runs on. Myth 4. Medication is a crutch. Medication for anxiety disorders is not weakness. For many people, it's what makes therapy possible in the first place. When the anxiety is so overwhelming you can't function, medication can bring the volume down enough that you can actually do the work. That is not a crutch. That's a tool. Myth 5. You'll have it forever. This is the most damaging myth of all because it makes people give up. The research is clear. Anxiety disorders are among the most treatable conditions in all of mental health. Most people with the right treatment see significant lasting improvement. Not managed, not coped with. Actually better. What actually works? Therapy, specifically CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is the gold standard. Decades of research back this up. CBT works by identifying the distorted thought patterns feeding your anxiety and systematically challenging them. Your brain is running a program full of bugs. CBT is the patch update. For phobias and panic, there's exposure therapy, gradual, controlled exposure to what triggers you in a safe environment until your brain learns it's not actually dangerous. Uncomfortable? Yes. Effective? Remarkably. Medication. SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, are the most commonly prescribed. They work by increasing available serotonin in the brain. They're not instant, they take 4 to 6 weeks to kick in, and they're not for everyone. But for many people, they are genuinely life-changing. Short-term, benzodiazepines can help with acute symptoms, but they're addictive and not a long-term solution. The combination approach. Study after study shows that therapy plus medication outperforms either one alone, especially for moderate to severe anxiety. They work on different layers. Medication adjusts the chemistry, therapy rewires the thinking patterns. Together, they're significantly more powerful. Lifestyle, not optional, not a replacement. Sleep is not negotiable. A sleep-deprived brain is an anxious brain. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, becomes dramatically more reactive when you're tired. Exercise is a proven anxiety reducer, not because it's healthy in a vague sense, but because it actually metabolizes stress hormones and releases endorphins. Reducing alcohol and caffeine matters more than most people realize. Both directly elevate anxiety. These aren't cures, but they change the baseline you're working from. I want to say something directly to anyone watching this who is suffering right now. The hardest part of having an anxiety disorder is that it lies to you. It tells you the fear is rational. It tells you that you can't handle it, that reaching out is pointless, that nothing will help, that this is just who you are. None of that is true. I have sat across from people, brilliant, strong, accomplished people who were completely convinced they were beyond help, and I have watched them heal. Not partially, not cope better, genuinely heal. You don't have to white-knuckle your way through life. You don't have to earn the right to feel better. You just have to take one step, and that step is talking to someone. A therapist, your doctor, someone you trust. Just one step. Here's my honest opinion after years of working in this field. Anxiety disorders are not a life sentence, but they don't get better by being ignored, minimized, or pushed down. The people who struggle most are the ones who spend years convincing themselves they're fine, while quietly falling apart. The bravest thing you can do is admit you're not okay. Not to the internet, not to a stranger, just to yourself. And then do something about it. If this video helped you understand something you've been feeling but couldn't name, share it with someone. That person in your life who never talks about it but clearly struggles. Sometimes the right information at the right moment changes everything. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely read them. And I'll see you in the next one.